So good afternoon. You are in the Not for Sale Youth Zoom room, and my name is Ania McNair. And so a little short description of me. I'm a senior at Reginald F. Lewis High School. I'll be turning 18 in 1 month, 26 days, and probably in 12 and a half hours. And I'm founder and CEO of Not for Sale Youth. I am an entrepreneur. I have a t-shirt business and it's called Purpose. I am a change maker and I'm also a musician. I play 5 instruments. I play clarinet, tenor saxophone, violin, piano, and trumpet. So that's something interesting about me. Okay, so who is Not for Sale Youth? You want to know what that's about? Okay. I'm glad you asked. So, Not for Sale is a human trafficking initiative that raises awareness and provide resources to the Baltimore City community. Human trafficking is not new and is oftentimes downplayed in our most vulnerable communities. In a city overwhelmed with health disparities, providing accurate information and trusted resources to youth and adults and survivors is essential. So I'm gonna play a short film for you. And the statistics might be off, and it's a reason why I did that. So the name of this organization is called Not for Sale. And so I'm gonna play this video for you. And this video was back in 2009. Okay. And we're gonna go right back to the presentation. So a short summary of human trafficking and its definitions as I continue to go to my slide. Okay, so what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the action or practice of illegal transporting people for the purpose of sexual exploitation or labor use. Human trafficking is someone to make someone else make profit by using force or bribery, and that's labor trafficking. And human trafficking and sex trafficking, labor trafficking falls under human trafficking, period. But familial sex trafficking is specifically involves traffickers who sell victims for profit, giving offenders sexual access to victims or pornography in exchange for drugs, money, or something else of value. So, as you saw in the short film that I just played, like I said, it was back in 2009. We are now in 2021. And so this summarizes of what happened through the year of 2020. So 150 billion year revenue was made worldwide. In 2018, 51% of the criminal human trafficking cases in the US equal to sex trafficking cases involving only children. In the US, approximately 300,000 children are lured into sex trafficking a year. So these are the sex and labor trafficking totals. So sex trafficking made 99 billion per year. 4.5 million people worldwide forced into sexual exploitation. 1 in 6 runaways in the US likely become sex trafficking victims. So labor trafficking made 51 billion per year made in forced labor. 21 million people worldwide are victims of forced labor, and migrants are most vulnerable to forced labor practices. So what does Not for Sale Youth do? So we believe that all young people are designed for purpose, no doubt about it. And with the appropriate support we give to our youth, we have the power to change and save lives. We believe that every child and youth are worth protecting. So we are partners with some organizations, and we love to support youth organizations because we believe in peer-to-peer support. So we do provide mental health support from the Black Mental Health Alliance for any young person in need for mental support. We have a mentoring group for our Black males with a youth-led organization called Mentoring Black Males in Baltimore City. And we are also partners with University of Maryland School of Social Work. We are also partners with Heart Smiles MD to create young people into leaders and teach and support youth entrepreneurship. Okay, if you want some more information about the mentoring Black males in Baltimore City, here is their Instagram and their email. And we also believe in self-care and self-love and being natural. So we do work with Reherbals. And so they bring Mother Nature and organic stuff for skin, lips, any of that nature. And we give that in our toiletry bags that we give out. We are having a toiletry bag giveaway in late July, and I will provide more information on that later. So we represent strength and humility. So Not for Sale is humble in the work that we do, but we know that we can't do it alone. It takes a community to help everyone. And we are humbled and love to serve and help our communities and to help youth and children to be the best version of themselves. So I wanted, of course, give my reference of where I got my information from. Recently, I just took 2 trainings and got my certificate from Wilmington University. And so that's where my information came from. And if you want to contact us, my email is right here, my phone number, our Instagram, and our Twitter. Please feel free to text or call or email me. I'm always available. I reply back as fast as I can. And so this is the time to ask questions or to know more about Not for Sale and different other organizations that we are partnered with. So I'm open to anything, any questions, comments, concerns. I see some people put in the chat. Thank you for the love.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, with this human trafficking thing, is you is that what is so with so okay, cool. Give me 1 second.
No problem. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I have a comment. Hi, Ania. This is Miss Smith. I just want to say that I'm proud of you. I'm glad that I was finally able to participate or attend one of your sessions. And this is just really great. And just to let you know that if you need any support, I'm here for you. I do want to speak with you offline about the toiletry bags that you'll be giving out because I may have a partner that can support you.
Yes. I think someone did ask me a question about that. That the toiletry bags is a volunteer opportunity. We are giving away 200 baskets for males and females, where it's going to be different kinds of toiletry bags, different kind of stuff in the toiletry bags. It's going to be on North Bond Street on Ashland by Church Square. I have a short satisfaction. I think I pronounced that word right. At the end, I'm gonna put in a chat, and you put your email in there. Let me know if you want to participate, and so you can help out if you would like to help out with the toiletry bags and stuff like that. Any other questions? And thank you, Ms. Smith.
I have a question. My name is Sarah. Sorry, it says Bobtown Ballroom, but my name's Sarah. I think a lot of adults recently, in the past, like, I don't know, 5-10 years, have become more aware of the issue of human trafficking. And yet, a lot of them, I think, don't seem to make the connection that people who they would maybe call prostitutes are usually people who are trafficked. And I'm wondering if that's a conversation that young people are having, the wordage around that and the disconnect between a victim versus somebody who's making their own choices.
I love that question. And we have gotten multiple questions about um, prostitution and how it falls in line with human trafficking. Um, in my opinion, I don't think anyone wakes up and saying, I want to be a prostitute or I want to be trafficked. But there are situations where young men and young ladies do decide to prostitute, and that is their own choice. But in following that, there can be a way where they can be and get a part of human trafficking, and that's not by choice. So the whole process of human trafficking is grooming and someone gaining their trust, and so they make it their perpetrator make it seem like I'm here for you, you can trust me, and then they listen, they fall in between the cracks. And so that how that process works. So then they're working for them and not for themselves. And so that's kind of like the difference with the prostitution and human trafficking, and who do we recognize as victims of human trafficking. And most of the cases come in as prostitution, but once you investigate more with the case and understand their situation a little more, you find out that it wasn't considered and they were a part of human trafficking. Did I answer your question correct?
Yeah, thank you. That was really great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I saw someone had a question in the chat. What is trafficking? How do I pronounce? No, I don't want to pronounce your name.
It's just Obi.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Obi for short.
Obi. Okay, so trafficking is transporting people illegally from the interstate by not consenting. So going to place for someone else to make profit by using force. Did that answer your question? Oh, 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 oh.
You said going from place to place by what? Couldn't hear you well.
Oh, I cut out. Okay, I'll repeat myself. So trafficking is you transporting someone place to place by force, or using someone else is using them transporting for illegal use. So that can be for sex, drugs, labor use. They're making them work a certain amount of hours, not getting paid. Like they're going place to place for someone else to make profit.
Okay, that answered yes. Thanks.
Okay, I'm glad that answered.
Hi, I had a question. It's for you. I wanted to ask, what made you want to be a human trafficking advocate?
Sorry, I didn't. It cut out on my end.
Sorry, I wanted to ask you, why did you want to become a human trafficking advocate?
So I started this work back in 7th grade, and I'm still present in teen court, and there were cases that has been told to me about human trafficking. So of course, me as a in 7th grade, I was like, that's really interesting. And I was a part of Youth Dynasty, a young ladies etiquette class, and a victim specialist from the FBI. Her name is Miss Renee. She's retired now. She was telling the group of girls the work that she do and working with victims and how she support victims, and hearing the stories in Baltimore about human trafficking was like, wow, that can be any one of us. It could be me. It could be one of my peers, it could be one of my friends. And I was like, I honestly want to do something about it. And so I did a presentation with Heart Smiles, and it's called Thriving Thursdays. And I presented, and it gained some more youth attention. And so when that happened, a grant opportunity presented itself. And one of the ladies who is on this call, her name is Miss Morgan, she helped me apply for it. And we got fully funded in November. And we started the process in June. And during that process, my aunt passed away. And she believed that all children and youth are designed for purpose. And I stand firmly in that comment, in that statement. And so when we got fully funded, we had an event that happened on January 9th, and it was a success. Over 40 people registered and over 35 people attended. And it was supposed to end at 2:30, and we went over an extra 32 minutes. That's how engaged the youth were in trying to help their community and understand what human trafficking is.
That's so awesome. Thanks for sharing. I just really wanted to get some insight because you definitely have so much knowledge, and it's just really great to see people advocating for this, really just upsetting nature that goes on in the world. I appreciate all the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just following up on that, because I'm impressed by your backstory. Do you have any visions for where your organization is going to go in the future? Like any goals for it?
Yes, I most definitely do. I'm so glad you asked me that question, because when I first, so my imagination is really big. And so I want to build a building for not for sale. And so I'm actually working on that now. And more information will be coming out once I have all my paperwork done and all that. I want to have a house for victims and survivors of human trafficking to help them get back on their feet, to let them know that you're not alone and you have a support system. The house will include other youth entrepreneurs, other youth organizations. It will have a mental health support system there. We're gonna get in contact with CCBC and BCCC to help continue their education if they pursue that, and also teach them different life skills, and to let them know, like, you're a regular human being. Your story doesn't define you. It built you and made you a better person for you to help other people. So I'm really working on getting a house for not for sale. So
That's awesome. I work at a law firm that represents a lot of victims and survivors. And I think one of the main things I learned is how important having support from all different angles is. So it's not just about, pursuing your civil or criminal case if you want to, but it's also like having those resources to get back on your feet and like being able to speak your story, but also not letting it define you, as you said. So that's a great answer.
thank you. Anyone else have questions or even want to share something? I'm open.
I got.
Hi. Oh, go ahead. I'll wait.
I was gonna say something. So hello everyone. I am glad it's my question, but I was part of I was like I was a little sidekick with Ania as well, part of the grant. I just want to let y'all know that. But I just want to thank Ania for allowing me to be a part of that. It's really awesome and a blessing, especially for a male's viewpoint, because we don't always have males to elaborate on human trafficking, especially a 15-year-old as me. Just addressing stuff like this.
Most definitely agree. And he's also a part of the mentoring Black males in Baltimore City. So you can also reach out to him if you want to know some more information about that.
Hi, I had a question that was about when you talked about the toiletry bags. How do you decide how many to put together and where to hand them out?
So I am on the human trafficking task force committee with the mayor's office, and I'm also with the Maryland Victims Services task force as well. And so we send out an email asking how many youth and children are or families are in need of toiletry bags or any kind of support. So once we get that list back and count how many people are in need of that, and if when I make a post on my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, other people has been reaching out to me, I'm saying, hey, this youth is in need of so and so. And so that's how we get the list of how many people and the names and what they need. So that's how we get people like that, if that makes sense. Especially during these challenging times, it is so hard when we lose people who are on care but taking action as well. Yes, Miss Barbara, this is something that I'm really passionate about, and so many other youth are passionate about, and we are working hard to lower the number of statistics. That is my goal, to lower 71% are women and children of color, and it actually grew by 7% in males since COVID hit. And so that was intriguing to me once I learned that. And it wasn't as surprising because a whole lot of people, males, play games. And sometimes you necessarily don't know who you're always playing with. And they ask questions. And sometimes you answer not knowing who you're really talking to, and you're giving out information. They start talking to you, gaining your trust, and they start grooming you. And then they probably ask you to meet up. And it's you know, some people are really not aware, and this is why we do what we do. It is shocking, the increase in males. It's very shocking. And sometimes we don't always get the right number of with male cases, because some males don't always report their trafficker or their trafficking situation that happened to them. And Naeem spoke really well with this when we had our event. Naeem, would you like to share more from a male's perspective?
Yes. So from the male's perspective, like Ania said, first things first, we don't always have males to speak up, especially when it comes to like this. One one of the things is that most males is very insecure to come out and to share their experience because they feel like they want to be ashamed or feel inferior within others. So not for sale. This is the space where I not only our young ladies but our young males can actually address what they've been through within human trafficking, because you're not only your voice matters, but your presence matters as well. You shouldn't you This is where you feel comfortable and you don't have to feel ashamed about expressing yourself.
I most definitely agree. Anyone else has any comments? Feel free to type in chat or
What is the average age that they usually, is there an age basically, or it doesn't matter?
it doesn't matter. The trafficker will try to groom anyone, but when I did my research, 14 between 17 for youth, and the lowest that I have ever seen was the age of 8. But you can really say from 12 to 20, but it can really be anyone, depending on who. A trafficker can be anyone, but a trafficker can target anyone. But they most typically go to vulnerable kids, and that could be, like in my presentation, 1 in 6 runaways will most likely fall into sex trafficking.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I was just, I wasn't sure if there was an actual age, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Miss Denise. Anyone else? We have a good like 15 more minutes. There has been a COVID-19 and domestic violence update. Since COVID-19 has also created a pandemic of domestic violence. So domestic violence cases also went up. And when I did my presentation with the familial sex trafficking, it can also be labor trafficking as well. But just seeing the numbers increase with the domestic violence and how human trafficking can play with that, it's very interesting in my opinion. It's like the cases has been really going up since COVID-19. And I think people are starting to, since the word is getting out a little more, some victims are feel a little safe in coming and sharing out their story. Because most of the times, like Naeem said, they really don't feel comfortable in sharing their story. And that's why the cases are decreased in sharing their story and their trafficking experience. And that also includes child abuse, sexual assault, human trafficking has increased markedly. And that I got that information from the National Child Traumatic Stress Network that was in 2020. Yes, Miss Denise, you raised hand. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I had to turn on my light. One, I wanted to thank you both for this presentation and just share that maybe a year ago, I worked with a student who we came to find out was trafficked by her father. And so I guess what I'm just saying is I hope that you can share resources with us if we, in our work, encounter situations, if you can put that into the chat. We were lucky enough to be working with a principal who was helpful in the situation, but yeah, it's very, very prominent. And I think people of a certain age don't have a lot of resources and know where to go when dealing with this work. So again, I want to thank you, or dealing with someone who is going through trafficking at that moment. They might be in school. It's sometimes it's runaways and sometimes it's young people who are actually going to school as well.
Yes, I completely agree. We are partners with Black Mental Health Alliance. So if just in case I'm not even going to say just in case, just going through that is traumatic and it's something that needs a healing process. And with that support, we are partners with the Black Mental Health Alliance. And from another standpoint, we are partners with University of Maryland School of Social Work if they are in need of more of a support. You're welcome. And Heart Smiles is also a great organization where we also do peer-to-peer support. I want to shout out Healing Youth Alliance as well, because we do trainings with other organizations to help. And we talk about depression, anxiety, eating disorders, because going through something traumatic, your body or you just might respond in many different ways. And there's different ways to cope with that. And also with human trafficking and drug trafficking are the top two that makes a lot of revenue. Like I said, 2020, human sex trafficking made 99 billion in the revenue of a year. That's a lot of money, and that's really unacceptable. And sometimes with that, there's drugs involved. So we do have a substance abuse training that Healing Youth Alliance also do as well. So that's all, and that it's a youth-led organization as well. So that's a great organization to get in touch with. I'm gonna put in, please feel free to email, type questions in the chat. I wanted this to be a group discussion because I feel like every voice matters and everything that you say matters to me. And I learn from you as you learn from me. And so that's why it was a short presentation, but wanting to talk as well. Hopefully this link works. We have, I believe, 10 more minutes. So if you don't mind, this is to help me and grow my numbers to see if this presentation was useful. It will help me. And also let me know what other topics you would want to talk about. This was just a brief summary of what not for sale and what human trafficking is. Is there something in particular traffickers look for in target? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So in my opinion, there's different points of how a trafficker can choose their victim. Link works. Cool, I'm glad the link works. So children who are more vulnerable, who is already going through abuse, the things that you should look for, and I wrote it in my notes because I want to be specific in how, so you can understand fully. So targeted populations, people who are being in child abuse, who has already been, who has been sexual assaulted, substance use, addiction by self or a caregiver, mental health struggles, housing/food insecurity, and that's prior experience or exposure with violence. Disconnected will be runaway and homeless youth, and displacement during natural disasters or migration, and unaccompanied minors. Oh yes, please elaborate, Naeem.
And I just want to say that I know you people wondering how people be human trafficked. What is their goal? What is they looking for specifically? I want to get in detail, but at the same time, I don't want to get in too much. Most majority of the time, when people is starting human trafficking, the number one thing that number one of the things they looking for is the age. They want to look for appealing looks. That's that's very interesting to them. That's the two main things. And within the community, we want to prevent that. We want to prevent, and we just want to give you guys tips that when you outside and you probably have some type of clothing and stuff like that, please always be with a person that's willing to stay with you, or only a trusted person, because you will never know what the person will might do to you as well, and stuff like that. So you want to be aware.
Most definitely, Naeem. And victims have lack of control. So few or no possessions, regularly monitored, not in control of their own money, no bank account, no identification or documents in possessions, no allowed or able to speak for themselves. Someone else may insist or being present and or translating. So that so all victims of human trafficking have lack of control. That's also something that you should look for. And Naeem was right on point. Like let's say a victim, a 12-year-old, they're 12, but their trafficker makes them look older than what they actually are by wearing certain clothes, by wearing excessive makeup, and that's disturbing. But Yes. Naeem, would you like to share more about your experience with Not for Sale and what you think of human trafficking is?
Of course, I would love to. My experience with Not for Sale. When I joined, you know, in Heart Smiles, I'm known as the tech guy, to be honest. And all I ever really wanted to do is just bring technology ideas to the table. I did want to join Not for Sale a little long time ago, when it was first things was getting put together, but I wasn't sure because I don't know if I was really interested into that stuff. But when I started to talk to Ania about it, she walked me through what it was and how to embrace these things. And then and I started seeing her forming a team already. I'm like, I want to join right now because I feel like this is the time where I can really make a difference, not with only my technology skills, but my voice as a young black man in Baltimore. Yes, we have people like I don't, I don't want to be repetitive, but yeah, and and yeah, it's really a very fun experience, especially speaking up for the young black males because you know it's just it's I feel like I'm the voice at this point.
So we had Miss Kim. Would you like to elaborate more on that? I saw your comment in the chat. Miss Kim.
Hey, so I just wanted to clarify one thing that one thing with human trafficking is it doesn't matter how old you are, how you look, or anything like that. What the trafficker tries to do is exploit any individual's vulnerabilities. So you know, what you were talking about before, which is, if with our homeless youth population, I'll give you a place to stay, but what are you going to do for me? Things like that. So it's really identifying what that vulnerability is in that individual. So maybe it's, unstable home relationships. So the trafficker will use their kind of pretend loving or fatherly or support relationship to exploit that person. And so really finding what they can exploit in each individual, because everyone's different. But looking for that vulnerability is the priority of the traffickers. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for adding some more information on that. Miss Amanda had a question. So if you see the potential signs of those who might be experiencing trafficking, not knowing what city they're in or where they are, works long or unusual hours, sudden access to money or valuables, signs of physical or sexual abuse, fearful, anxious, depressed, or withdrawn, chronic runaway, missing for long periods, owes unpayable debt. So if you see any of those signs, you can report to the police. There is a human trafficking line. I will drop that in chat. Give me one sec. I'm ready to put it in now. So it is 1-888-373-7888. So add another 8 to that. I'm gonna re-put it in there. I missed the 8. But I hope y'all enjoyed this section. Please fill out that satisfaction survey that I put in the chat to help me as a presenter, and let me know what other topics that you might be interested in. And I think our time is over. I hope everyone is staying safe, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day.